You guys need it. At least with the Chicago Bears, you're feeling good about Caleb Williams. There's a definitive guy in that spot that you can pour your hope into. For Cleveland Browns fans, their hope is fractured. Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Are we pouring into Shedeur Sanders? What about Dillon Gabriel, who made his debut, and the Browns' 22-13 win over the Eagles? Mixed reviews, but he did shine on the opening drive of the game. He led Cleveland on a 13-play, 63-yard touchdown drive. He went 4 for 4, 29 yards. But there were issues for him on play action. He went 1 for 6. 18 yards and a pick 6 on those plays. Cece, what was your takeaway from Dillon Gabriel's debut in the preseason?
I thought Dillon Gabriel did a good job in terms of being able to control the operation. You hate the early turnover, but you're talking about, 2 of the first 3 drives that he had being scoring drives. But again, when you come into the game, you got to be able to mitigate the downside, mitigate the risk of the team making those consequential mistakes. And he just didn't do that, right? I mean, you had the pick 6. A couple series later, you had the fumbled quarterback-running back exchange. Footwork was a little messed up on that play. Dan Orlovsky did a great job on social media breaking that down. But all in all, I thought it was, what you would expect for a rookie making his preseason debut. And Dillon Gabriel did have his progress in training camp interrupted due to an injury, so we don't know how much the time he spent out of the lineup impacted what we saw on Saturday. But again, it certainly isn't going to be a referendum on Dillon Gabriel. This is an opportunity for him to get better, and you just hope that he approaches it with that mindset.
We didn't have the same feeling after Dillon Gabriel's debut that we did Shedeur Sanders.
No.
We certainly didn't have the same feeling, and there certainly wasn't the same spotlight on him, even though he was drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders for the Cleveland Browns. And during the game, in the third quarter, he did a sideline interview with NFL Network, and Dillon Gabriel was asked about his preseason debut. Here's what he had to say.
There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best teammate I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all we want to do.
Now, Cece, at the outset, most people hear that there's entertainers and there's competitors, and where does their mind go? That he's a competitor. And Shedeur Sanders, who stepped into the spotlight here, is the entertainer. Is that how you took it?
Oh, absolutely. How could it not go to that place? I mean, remember, we had his former head coach, Dan Lanning at Oregon, give the pregame speech where he was just talking about how Colorado was doing it for clicks, and they were trying to do it for wins. Remember, Shedeur Sanders being the quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes, his dad being Coach Prime. It gave shades of that when I initially heard it. So I don't know how it doesn't land as a veiled shot towards Shedeur Sanders. Now, he cleaned it up a little bit post-game, and so I think we have that sound.
Yeah,
do we have that?
Let's hear from Dillon Gabriel, who clarified those comments.
First off, I'm all about our team, you know what I mean, and each other. I would never make that, and I've said it before, that's why it's interesting. But for me, I've explained it. Entertainers are you all, competitor. That's what I am and all my teammates, and we both have jobs to do. So that's it.
Did he clarify it enough for you?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He tried to clean it up. I just don't understand why you make the comment at all. What's the point? What does it serve?
Right.
We all understand that the media ain't making no tackles. They ain't throwing no passes. They not scoring no touchdowns. We get that, right? The media's job is to write about the game. Your job is to go out there and play the game. It's all entertainment, so let's be clear about that as well. It's a sports entertainment product. But what I don't understand is, what was Dillon Gabriel's point in highlighting that the media are entertainers and he's a competitor? Why is it necessary to create an adversarial position with the reporters, with the beat writers that are going to be covering your team for the entirety of the season? That part of it makes no sense to me. I don't understand why he needed to be defensive in that moment, and I hope, for his sake, that he takes that as a teachable moment.
Yep.
Because when you're the quarterback of the team, it's a leadership position by nature. And not only do you have to be good on the field, but you got to be good at the podium. It's a part of the job requirement. And I thought that was the wrong tone to set in terms of his post-game interview. With all of the mistakes that we saw, with the turnovers in the first half, there was clearly an opportunity for him to acknowledge his need for improvement and how he's got to stack days. He didn't do that. And to get the compare and contrast, the juxtaposition from how he handled his post-game press conference after his first preseason action versus Shedeur is absolutely jarring.
Well, let's hear from Shedeur Sanders back on August 8th, who talked about his performance in the preseason.
Well, I say I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable, so that's what it is. I got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I got to get into that quicker, regardless of anything. But overall, I feel like me out there, and I couldn't do it, of course, without the time. I couldn't do it without the play call. I couldn't do it without anything. So I'm just thankful to even be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already, that I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just the small details that of course, we practice on and we talk about. And I'll say, of course, towards the end, I'll say we got a little sloppy and we overall going to finish it up, and that's going to be a point of emphasis going into this next week. But I was just thankful just to share that moment with everybody.
So many people want to paint Shedeur as this attention-hungry person that's a distraction for his team. Anytime he opens his mouth and he speaks, it's a 10 of 10. He nails it every time. He's got incredible poise. He's got incredible maturity for someone in this position. He never really sticks his foot in his mouth and makes a headline or a spectacle of himself. That's generated around him. Whereas with Dillion Gabriel, you're right, this is a teachable moment. But if you do the compare and contrast, Shedeur talking about the joy of playing, keeping the focus on himself, what he could do better, what his progress has been like. With Dillion Gabriel, in that moment, again, I know that you're a rookie. I know that this is a foreign thing for you. I know that you're going to have to learn on the fly. Everybody has that calibration period when they get into a job for the first time. Mm-hmm. But why are you thinking about anything else other than yourself? Whether it's Shedeur Sanders, as we all purported it to be, even though he clarified that, or the media, in that moment, why are you even thinking about that?
I don't know. I have no answers for it, but it's the wrong thing to be thinking about.
Right.
And it's the wrong thing to let come out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, and the Browns organization are going to wrap their arms around him and explain to him that this is not the tone that you want to set in terms of your position, doing the verses with the media. Because guess what? The media, they don't run out of pen. They don't run out of ink in them pens.
No.
They don't run out of ink in it. They got microphones. Everybody's going to be able to do all the talking that they want to about your performance. You can never win that battle.
No.
So why even try?
Right.
That's the part that I don't understand. He's got clearly enough that he needs to work on. You don't want to add this extra layer of difficulty on top of it by now putting the media in a position where everybody wants to be super critical of every single thing that you do.
Yeah, not a space you want to be in. Not a space you want to be in, especially when you don't even have your job set. What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway, coming up next here on Sports Online.